Hey everyone, it's Angela. I hope that you all have been good and groovy since the last time that you saw me. Happy holidays, happy belated holidays. Merry 2020. Welcome to the new age. How has everyone been? So this is a catch you up video. I've been away. I think it's been about 3 months. I'm not gone. I'm not dead. I'm not in a hole somewhere. A lot has happened over the past 3 months that has just drawn my attention away. The world is in a bad place, but the world is also in a better place. There's so many things happening now in 2020, and I think it's a lot of purging going on, and that's what's been happening with me. I set an intention, a strong intention with the last 2 full moon cycles of 2020 to really purge and to really, well, that's been my intention the whole of the latter half of 2019, which is one of the reasons that made me start making videos in the first place, go back to video making. You know, this spiritual journey that we are all on. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm ready to really purge. I'm really ready to do the work. It's funny, I was on a friend of mine, a light friend, some of you may know her, Mila Jam. She's a singer, she's a trans singer. She did a live last night, and I popped in just to watch and to chime in. And she was talking about relationships and dealing with relationships as a trans woman, and I was chiming in, and I realized I've gained so much knowledge here lately because I've been doing the work and facing my own hurdles and insecurities and hang-ups. And she was talking about, when we say doing the work, what does that mean? And that's what it means. Doing the work means facing your shadow self. And when you face your shadow self, you're facing all the dark parts of who you are. So, like, for instance, in dealing with this relationship with Mila, attracting men that you definitely don't want to have in your life, or attracting men as trans women who use us because they're unsure of their sexuality and all that kind of stuff. The responsibility that we take in that is, what is our vibration? What is our energy? And as trans women, there's an extra amount of healing that we need to do as we become socialized as women, and our own securities and passing and our own hang-ups about masculinity, femininity, and whatever oppression that we have faced, because many of us face oppression as it has to deal with our gender expression and sometimes sexuality. And I wanted to be honest. I've been in a relationship with a man going on 6 years, and I just ended that recently. I'd been trying to end it, but couldn't really do it. I would always break because he always said the right thing, and I'd be lonely. And 2, leaving him felt like hurting him. And I didn't talk to him for about 2 or 3 months. In November, my stepmother died. She had a nasty fall, and I had a feeling this was going to be it. I even made a video about it, but thought it would be a little out of color to post the video. But she passed, and it was a very spiritual event for me. It was traumatic. It's traumatic when a parent dies. She's been my stepmom since I was 3, so she's definitely one of my parents. It's funny, when growing up, I would tell people, I've got 2 moms. And so sometimes people would think that I had like lesbian moms, but it was a difficult passing. But it was also healing. Maybe I'll get into that in another video, how someone's death can be healing for me. But there's just been a lot that was going on. And, when someone close to you dies, it just really makes you think about your own mortality and where you are with regret and unresolved issues in your life. And I decided, I don't want to wait anymore to be right with myself. I'm attracting men consistently, are showing up in a way in my life that I don't like. What does that say about me? What am I not demanding? And so a few of the things that I've learned over the past 3 months is that in relationships specifically, I have to say what I want and mean it, and not worry about how the other person is going to take it. I told Mila last night on her video, You have to know that your intentions are not malicious, but you have to speak up for what you want and be stern. And, you know, if you say, I told this guy, you know, this is what I want. Because we ran into each other at church, and I was looking good. He was looking good. And he was like, hey, you looking good. And so we reconnected and we talked, and we actually spent some time for a few weeks. But then I was like, no, this is not going anywhere. I told him, you know, listen, this is what I've discovered about me. This is what I want. I'm the marrying kind. I don't, this casual relationship mess that we've been doing for years, I don't want to do anymore. I want to date for marriage. Um, I know I still have some things that I need to work on. This is what I bring to a relationship. This is what I plan to bring, and this is what I need you to bring. Now, if you can't bring it, it's fine. I'll move on. And it's like, I can do that, but he couldn't. He couldn't. We tried for a couple of weeks, but then I realized this is not going to go anywhere. He just doesn't know how, because he has to do his own healing. We carry the wounds of our childhood with us, and not just our childhood, but the things that happen to us throughout our lives. You know, but it's especially our childhood. I carry some very strong wounds that make me seek validation and love and relationships. And a lot of times the ways that in which we were loved as children, we seek that type of love, whether it was a lack of love, a love through abuse, be it sexual abuse, physical, emotional. When it's lack, it's like not having a father around or not having a mother around, or people just misusing you and mistrusting you. And so you pick people who misuse you and mistrust you, or you mistrust, or, you know, all of that. And so this man in particular in my life showed up in a way where he couldn't commit to me. You know, I grew up with the dad in my life, but he didn't live in the house with me, and he would break commitments to me, and so that has shown up. That's the vibration that I've attracted to me. So I had to face that. You know, I had to forgive my father. I had to think about it. You know, I had to really think about all of that stuff and give that inner child the loving and the healing that she needed, because that's what it was, and and not carry that wound around. When my stepmother died, what happened was there was some trauma that she and my mother caused together, and she addressed that trauma on her deathbed. And the funny thing is about it, the day before, as she was on her deathbed, I was in the room with her, just me and her, and you know, it's a whole bunch of siblings. We were taking turns being in her room, so she was never alone. You know, God, I want to let this go. I don't want to carry this anymore. You know, she deserves to pass in peace and with dignity, and I don't want to hold this anymore, you know. And I can feel the tears welling under the surface, because it was, you know, I love this woman so much. And that is what makes loving as an adult confusing, because a lot of times the traumas that our parents and the adults around us place on us as children is confusing, because oftentimes we love them, right? And so we seek to be loved in the way that they showed up in our lives. Does that make sense for you guys? And when I talk about the work that you need to do. So, you know, I released it. The very next day, it was a gang of us. My dad was in a room. All my siblings were there, about an aunt and an uncle, and she's like, everybody get out. Everybody's got to go. Then she called me and my sister back in the room. She's like, listen, I apologize. And man, she was speaking to the 3-year-old, the 4-year-old, the 5-year-old, the 6-year-old, the 7-year-old, the 8-year-old, the 9-year-old in me. She was speaking to me as a child when she apologized. And let me tell you, I sank to my knees by her bed, and I just bawled. And I said, thank you. And I told her how much I loved her. And I felt a bird of peace fly out of my chest. It was like I let go, and it was so healing. And it was a jump start for me recognizing it's time for me to start letting stuff go. I've got to start forgiving people. I've really got to forgive myself, and I've got to face these insecurities. I got to face these wounds, because I could feel, I was telling a friend of mine that I remember being a kid, and I was at home at my mom's house, because, you know, my dad had the new family, and my stepmother was on the phone, and they were cussing each other out, my mom and my stepmother, through me. You tell your mother that blah, 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 blah. You tell that bitch that I said blah, 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 blah. And as a kid, I remember those words and that energy ripping through me. And she helped me to start healing up that wound. I had my mom in my car today, and I realized there's still some wounds that I need to face that she caused in me. And I can feel them. She'll say something, and it triggers. There's an energy. And those are the things that we have to face and recognize, that those energies show up in our relationships. I realized that I want to be treated like a queen in my relationships with my men. I want a man who knows how to treat a woman. I want a man who has character, who doesn't want to just date casually, who doesn't want to have a lot of random sex, who wants to see me as a soul, as a spiritual being, and wants to date me on that level. And that means I cannot settle no matter what. I have to gamble being alone. And while I am alone, I get to treat myself special, and I get to treat myself like the spiritual being that I know I am. And that raises my vibration. It just so happens, as soon as I said to him the last time, and I meant it, we were together, we were talking, and I started to see myself rise in a way. And I don't want it to sound like a hierarchy in a sense, but he and I have talked a lot about the work that we both need to do, and specifically his work in facing his health, facing his childhood trauma. I think he's typical of men who he was sexually molested as a child by a woman. And I think men often don't see sexual exploration and sexual encounters as children, if it lines up with their sexuality, specifically heterosexual men. They don't see that how a woman has seduced and manipulated and taken advantage of their sexuality, and he has yet to really deal with that. And he finally recognized, well, this was not a conquest. This was some woman taking advantage of me. And I was like, yeah. And so he isn't capable of giving me the love that I need because he hasn't healed his own wounds. And I can't hold that against him, but I can't wait for him either, because now I'm here. Now I'm here, and I recognize who I am. I recognize what I am and what I need, and I deserve it. And I will have it, and so I won't settle for less. And so I told him, listen, it's been good. It's been amazing. And I love you, but I can't do this anymore. And that's it. I can't do it. I won't do it. And he popped up at my job the other day, and and I feel like it was a test. And he's like, oh, call me later. I haven't called him. I'm not going to call him. We can't be friends. He wants to have sex with me. And man to man this week. And it's very new, but the way that this man is treating me and speaking to me earlier in the, last year, 3 or 4 months ago, I couldn't have received it. And that's what doing the work is. You've got to heal yourself, face your wounds, face your bad habits, face your insecurities, and address those things and release them. So that's what I've been doing. And I made a couple of videos, over the past 3 months, but they were so personal and so heavy. I really didn't want to put that out there. So today I feel moved, and I'm in such a better place, and I'm so excited about 2020. I actually made a video about peenmatite was the other crystal that I'm really into, and I dropped it in my car. It's in between the seat. I can see it, but it's a beautiful stone. I made a video about that, but I think I want to make another one because I may buy some more. So yeah, I haven't gone anywhere, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed and who has been subscribing. I'm up to 250. It toggles. Sometimes it's 251, then it goes back down to 250, but thank you so much. I'm lurking. I've been watching videos. I'm commenting here and there. And what I've been doing is taking care of myself and healing and allowing my energy to rise and my vibration to rise. And I'm doing everything that I can to love myself and to give myself the space that I need to grow and to heal and to be compassionate. And for me, that is what doing the work is. And I hope that you all are doing the same. I'm going to leave it here because I really want to post this video. Love and light, peace and blessings on your journey. Light worker friends, take care of yourselves.